Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. Say, of course it's illegal to push your own clone off of a cliff, but is it murder, suicide, or an obscene clone fall? Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Messiah Complex, an expansion to Legendary, a Marvel deck-building game from Upper Deck. Hello, everybody. We'll get back to the review in just a second. I just want to take a moment to ask you to go ahead and check out and subscribe to my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about military history and books on history and fun things like that. Please check that out. Please subscribe. And now, back to the review. Legendary Messiah Complex from Upper Deck is the latest expansion to your Legendary, a Marvel deck-building game. And, of course, it's got a bunch of new villains, it's got henchmen, it's got masterminds, it's got kooky schemes, and it's got some super new clone heroes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this new game revolves a lot around clones and how clones work. So a lot of your cards have a keyword called clones. Now, what this means, to clone a card means there are a lot of cards that are very similar. If you, for instance, recruit a hero that's got a clone ability, if it says, when recruited, clone, or something else can kick in and say clone, that means you actually go through the hero deck, you search, you find another card, that exact same card, and you can put that in your deck so you get two of those cards when cloned. Some villains, too, have the clone ability, and what this means is if, for instance, there's an ambush clone, you need to go through the villain deck, find another clone copy of that card, and put that in the city as well. Now, you also have here the shatter keyword. Now, shatter is important because many of the villains and the masterminds have incredibly high attack values, right? Numbers that you have to hit in order to bring them down. But what the shatter ability does is if you can manage to get a shatter ability on your turn, you can pick a villain or a mastermind or, perhaps characters of villains in some locations, and you can shatter them. And how shattering works is essentially you just have their total attack value. So instead of being, say, a 32, they'd go down to a 16. You can shatter them again, they'd become an 8, etc., etc., etc. So you can shatter these enemies in the attempt to make them weaker and more manageable for your heroes. Now, another new keyword here is tactical formation. Now, tactical formation will appear on some of your cards, usually with numbers following it. So it may be like tactical formation 442 or tactical formation 34, or etc., etc. And what that means is if you play cards that cost those numbers, so 442, if you play 2 4s and it costs 2 card, then you can go ahead and get the specific ability that comes with that tactical formation. Now, in Legendary Noir and Dimensions, we were introduced to the Investigate keyword. Essentially, you can investigate your deck for certain traits, certain numbers, what have you, but you look at the top 2 cards, and if that card is there, you can go ahead and draw it. Now, some villains have something called Prey, and Prey is pretty interesting because essentially Prey takes the villains out of the city and actually puts it right in front of the player. Some of the villains actually prey on you. They actually come out and you set them in front of you. Now, what you're going to do then is try to defeat that villain in front of you. If you don't defeat that villain in front of you, it passes to the next player. They've got a chance to knock him out, and then you've got another chance. But at the end of that turn, after he comes out, if you are not able to knock him out, then he gets to finish praying, and that's got some nasty abilities. We've also got Chivalrous Duel in this expansion. Chivalrous Duel, I believe, was in Ant-Man. It may have been in one or two others. But essentially how Chivalrous Duel works is essentially one hero is going to take on the villain all by himself. And how that works is you have to, all the attack value has to come from a from cards that belong to the same hero, the same type of cards. If you play those, they add up to the appropriate number. You can take them down, but any attack value you get from other cards cannot work against a chivalrous duel. All of the attacks must just come from, as I say, one hero. Now, Legendary Civil War and Secret Wars Volume 1 also introduced us to Sidekicks, and there are plenty of new Sidekicks in this expansion as well that will help you, that you can recruit. You go ahead, of course, you play them on your turn, they cycle through your deck, you play them on your turn, and then they go back to the Sidekick deck. They cost 2, so it's a cheap way to get some power and some abilities on the board. Finally, there's a new keyword, Veiled and Unveiled Schemes. Has to do, of course, with the schemes, and I will talk about that in just a minute. You've got 2 new Henchmen groups, and both these groups deal heavily with clones. So they're going to come out of the deck, and they're going to bring more of their friends out on the deck, more of their clones out on the deck. You've got the Mr. Sinister clones, ooh, nasty. And then you've also got the Sentinel Squad 1 clones that are going to come out and give you a bad day. Now that's pretty cool because usually in the Legendary games we don't get henchmen. In a lot of these expansions we don't get the henchmen. So it's kind of fun when we do have these expansions with henchmen. This has got 2 of them. Also, you get 4. That's right, 4 villain groups. You've got the Acolytes. You have got Clan Yoshida. You have got the Purifiers. And you have the Reavers. Now let's go ahead and talk about the heroes. I believe you get 8 new heroes with this expansion. And ordinarily I like to go through and I talk about, this hero's most powerful card, this hero's most powerful card. I'm not really going to do that here because a lot of these heroes don't have most powerful cards. Some of them do, but not all of them. And that's because a lot of the heroes, again, deal with this kind of cloning and cloning technology. So many of their cards aren't really that powerful by themselves, but as you get more of those cards and those clone abilities kick in, they can get more and more powerful. You've got M, and all of her cards are cost 3. She's got a lot of clone abilities and a lot of tactical formation abilities. You've got Multiple Man, and Multiple Man has only cost 4 cards. He's got a lot of clone abilities, tactical formation abilities, and some of his cards have the Investigate keyword. Now, you've got Richter, and Richter does have some varying cost cards. He has got a lot of Investigates, but he critically also has the Shatter ability. Richter's most powerful card is Massive Earthquake. It's a cost 7 card, and it's got Shatter the Mastermind or Shatter all heroes currently in the HQ. That's right, you can shatter heroes to make their costs go down as well. You've got Shatterstar, and Shatterstar has a lot of cost 3 and cost 5 cards. Now, he's got a lot of clone abilities as well as a lot of tactical formations. You've got Siren, and Siren has a lot of tactical formation cards, but she critically too has the Shatter ability. Siren's most powerful card is Splintering Shriek. It's a cost 8 card. It's got Shatter as well. It says Shatter the Mastermind, KO up to 2 cards from your hand and or discard pile. You've got the Stepford Cuckoos, and these are usually cost 2 cards and cost 3 cards, and they mostly have the clone ability. A few of them also have the keyword Investigate. You've got Strong Guy. Strong Guy has tactical formation cards, he's got investigate cards, he's even got cards that specifically deal with getting rid of wounds for you and for other players as well. Strong Guy's most powerful card is Treasure Hunt. It's a cost 8 card with an attack value of 3. It reads, investigate for one of these options, then a different option, then a third option. You can investigate for a strength card, for an X Factor card, a card that costs 4, and a card that costs 5. Next, you've got Warpath. His cards generally let you investigate, or use tactical formation, or even draw more cards. Warpath's most powerful card is Superhuman Senses. It's a cost 7 card with a variable plus 3 attack. It reads, whenever you reveal or look at any number of cards from your deck this turn, you get plus 1 attack. Just drawing or discarding a card from your deck doesn't count. Choose a number 1 or more, investigate for a card of that cost. You've got 3 new Mastermind cards. You've got Bastion, Exodus, and Lady Deathstrike. They each have their own quirky things. There's Mastermind modes for some of them. For instance, Lady Deathstrike, she can actually leave the Mastermind lair and come out and prey on a player. So there's some new and funky things going on with these bad guys. Now also, I love the schemes, and this game comes with 4 new schemes. Or is it 8? That's because of the nature of these schemes. Now, ordinarily, I do like to read through all of the schemes. I'm not going to do that here because there's a twist, and I'm afraid I'll give away some spoilers here. essentially, you have veiled and unveiled schemes. So you lay down the scheme, and then once a certain condition is met, if it's twists that come out or something else occurs on the board, then you flip the scheme over, you mix it up with all the others flipped over schemes, and you draw a new scheme. This is an unveiled scheme, which leads you to exactly how you can win and how evil can win the game. So again, I don't really want to get too much into what those things are, particularly with the unveiled schemes. I'll let you guys discover that. And to me, that's half the fun, is finding what's going to come up here and what's going to be the ultimate objective of these bad guys. The game also does come with some more new bystanders as well, so you'll want to check those out. So that is essentially what you're getting in this expansion. Again, this is a 200 card expansion, so this is a big one. This is a big one. It's filled with a lot of really cool stuff here. I really, really like clones. I think that is fun, getting the new clones, but I do have a criticism, and that is because you are searching the hero decks and the villain decks for the new clones, you are shuffling a lot in this game. You're shuffling those decks. I think it's fun. I think it's cool that you can get a card and boom, you can immediately get another card, or you bring out one of the bad guys and you're ambushed with another one, and I think that's cool and that's fun and it's thematic. But that shuffling does kind of wear on you a little bit. So just bear that in mind. When you play with this deck, you're probably going to do more shuffling than you usually do in a game of Legendary. Just keep that in mind. Investigate and Chivalrous Duel, I like those. I think they're both fun. It's fun to see them back here. I really like Tactical Formation. I think Tactical Formation is cool because, again, it's a new and exciting way to get combos. And if you get the right cards coming up in your hand, which happens more than you think it might, you can go ahead and do those extra powers and extra abilities that will really pay off. Can really pay off when you're taking on some of those baddies and the mastermind. I like that. Now, what's cool too here is some of these heroes, like I believe Exodus, has like a massive amount of power. And to attack him, you can't just. There's no way you're just going to build a natural 32, or at least not very easily. Attack power. So those shatter cards are absolutely essential. You're going to play those shatter cards in order to shatter them, to bring them lower, to humble them, in order to get them down to where they are, as I say, manageable. But I also like shatter too because, again, it lets you recruit cards from the HQ at a reduced cost. So shatter has a lot of there's a lot you can do with shatter, and it's fun and it's interesting, and it works really well with this set. I'm not terribly familiar. Again, I don't follow the comic books, so I'm not terribly familiar with the characters, most of the characters in this set, or the villains or whatnot. But I generally like them. I had fun with them. I like how some of those cards are really dependent upon the clones, and you don't really have the powerful card, the big bad card that they come with. I kind of actually like that. That was kind of refreshing, a little change of pace there. And I also really enjoyed the schemes. I love the schemes here because they do go from something you're expecting to something completely unexpected, and you don't know where it's going. I like how the focus of the game kind of changes halfway through the game. Again, it's refreshing. It's something new. I hope we see this again in future expansions because this is really a fun way to play the game. So I really like that one as well. All told, this is another great expansion. Really enjoying it. I definitely put this, again, in the upper tier of the expansions that I played. My problem when I try to rank these, and I have tried before, and people have said to me they'd like to see a ranking of my feelings on these expansions. I think I own them all. I think I played all but one. There's, I think, one I haven't played with yet that I need to at some point. So I really like this game a lot, but there's 27 expansions to it. This is the 27th expansion to the game, and to be honest, most of them I haven't played for years because I keep playing the new ones that are coming out, right? And sometimes I'll go back and I'll play with some of the older stuff, but it's not as often as I would like. And so to that end, I just don't know if it's realistic of me ever ranking and reviewing them. And really, too, one of the big problems is they keep coming out with new ones. They come out with, 4 or 5 a year now or something like that, which is awesome. But for ranking purposes, not so much. And I'm kind of running out of space. I got to start thinking of new storage solutions because right now I've got about 4 or 5 of the big boxes that I'm filling up with my other cards, so I might have to get some other storage solution. I've heard rumors that Upper Deck's working on something. I hope so. I hope so, and I hope it's soon because I really need a Marvel storage solution for this game. I love this game so much. I love Legendary. One of my favorite games. One of my favorite games to play solo or with other people, and it's fantastic just as a game system. I think Messiah Complex does a fantastic job of keeping it new, keeping it fresh, and giving you a lot of content. So if you want to get an expansion that has a lot of cards, that has a lot of fun and interesting new keywords and mechanics and those schemes, which are so cool, I highly, highly recommend you check out Legendary Messiah Complex. Recommendation from the Discriminating Gamer. Buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We'd ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. I'd ask you, ladies and gentlemen, please check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about military history and fun things like that. And I'd also ask you to please leave a thumb for this video on Board Game Geek. That also helps us out quite a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, I was very skeptical when they started talking about cloning humans, but when they proved me wrong, I was beside myself. Please somebody